Yes, guys. How are you? Welcome to the Huffington Post. My name's Theodore Hoffman. You know who I am. You see me on my socials, and at the moment, I am changing things up a bit. Like, obviously doing the pre-recorded stuff, but what I want to try and do more of is going live with guests and also myself, so I can be more consistently putting out content on a regular basis and giving you guys information that you need. And today, I have with me.
Stephen Arthur.
So Stephen Arthur is an amazing man. He's helped me a lot over the past few years. He's accomplished a lot in terms of creating his own brands, helping people create their own brands, traveling around the world, setting up stores around the world and in Birmingham. There is so much to this man. So Stephen Arthur, can you please give the audience a bit more backstory of who you are?
Okay, then. So a little bit of a backstory. How far should I go back, Theo? I'm trying to think of how far. I think I should take it back to actually when I actually started to go into fashion.
Okay, let's do that.
That might work a little bit. So to give the audience a little bit of an idea of who I am. So originally I used to be an IT technician for a primary school, but I always loved art. I've been doing art for years. I had a fascination with it. Besides doing ICT technician work, I was also working at my grandparents' pub, being a bar person too. And I started to sketch and sketch and sketch. And my mum, I'd always kind of rip up the sketches, but my mum would always save them and piece them back together and say, you're very, very talented. But I just disregarded it. A competition happened with This Morning, which was in collaboration with John Lewis. And everybody told me to do this competition. My grandmother, the teachers at school, my dad, they were just gearing me on to say, try this competition out. I did the competition. I did a sketch. It took me less than 10 minutes to do this sketch. I sent it off to the ITV studios, and a few weeks later, they got back to me telling me that out of hundreds of applicants, you've been chosen to be a part of this competition. From 20 contestants, it got reduced to 10. From 10, it got reduced to 5. And from 5, I won the actual competition. My design, my first design got promoted in John Lewis stores nationally on Oxford Street. We sold out within the first week. We turned over $250,000, within the first few months of selling that one design. And it just blew up so much. From there, because I didn't have no experience doing any form of fashion, I took it on myself to study it. So I studied at Central St. Martin's doing pattern cutting and pattern cutting and sewing. From there, I decided to incorporate and run my own company. And that's when Stephen Arthur was formed. That was back in 2013. From there, I got to work with Live Nation, where I've done work with Kanye West, Lizzo, Iggy Azalea Banks, Robin Thicke, Sean Paul, Pharrell. The list literally goes on. I had an amazing opportunity to do that. From there, I've opened up stores. I opened up a store in Sweden where I resided there for a little bit. I did Swedish Fashion Week on top of that, created a fantastic network there, came back to England, and then I opened up my first store within the Bullring. That went extremely well as well. And it's just grown from height to height with regards to my designs. On top of that, I do creative careers consultancy for various universities where I give them support within not only fashion, but in media, digital design, etc. Because over the years of me running my own company, I've created relationships with other companies as well. And I think that's it. There's probably a lot more.
There truly
That's
is.
just a little bit of it.
That's just a little bit. So with the topic today, we're talking about impatience and persistence.
Okay.
So throughout, obviously the journey that you've been on, we Stephen Arthur, let's say, with just that alone, the brand, you must have had loads of impatient times, but how have you been able to remain consistent and persistent to actually carry on building your brand, building business, building your network and growing?
Being impatient costs money. It really does. It costs a lot of money to do that, and that's what's made me a little bit more humble with regards of what I do. When I I did a lot of things prematurely when it came to building my brand, and this is natural for anybody that's running a company. There's a lot of things that you just want to get done now, and you don't really plan ahead, or you don't understand like the outcomes. But sometimes we're not going to know the outcomes unless we don't try it as well.
True.
And so I think there's always going to be a level of impatience of you wanting to do something just straight away. But trust me, there is some adverse effects when it comes to doing that, where you do lose a lot of money over it, especially when you're, you know, an independent like entrepreneur trying to make it. When you've got that one cash flow for you to get money, and you've got to think extra hard in regards of how you do things. So me learning not to do things prematurely, really assessing what could happen if if something goes wrong. I've learned to do that a hell of a lot better. Also, me taking a hiatus from my company helped me realize how much what I was doing wrong in the first place.
Amazing.
So taking a few years off for me to kind of really build myself and do personal development, work with other fashion brands, work with other companies, understand their culture, their ecosystem, really helped me to grow as an entrepreneur and then re-implement it back into my company.
Okay, amazing. So like, you know, you mentioned like the break that you had, like how has that break helped you accelerate as an individual, but in business as well?
It needed to happen because I was doing too much work, Theo. Like, honestly, like I was doing the most work, and there was a lot of things, like I've said this before, like our companies are our babies, and it's like we try and do so much to make sure that we give the companies the best opportunities that they could get in order for it to be big and grow. And I think I was so engrossed in my company, engrossed in doing as much things as possible, that I wasn't taking anybody's advice into heed in regards of what I was doing. So I was kind of crippling myself. And it was only until I did the Bullring store, I knew that, okay, then I can make these opportunities happen. But when it comes to sustaining it, and when it comes to making sure that it's planned properly, I was failing there. My project management wasn't very good. And that's what I learned. I was like, we're turning in money, but it's like the way that it was structured was not right. And it was having bad health on myself. Like I was getting ill very easy. I was doing too much work, and I didn't have no time for myself. My personal life was just non-existent. And it was only until I got really sick, after I stopped doing everything like for Stephen Arthur, like literally, it's like that's when I realized, that's when my business partner said, Stephen, you need to take a break. So we said, let's take a month out. A month turned into 4 months. 4 months turned into a year. And it's like during that time, I got to kind of get fragments of me again. Like I kind of lost myself in my business, where I was doing everything for the company.
Definitely.
And it easily happens when you're an entrepreneur. You lose yourself within the company, within your own company. And it's like, it takes a long time for you to build yourself back up, but it was needed. And I got to travel the world. I got to meet new people, and I got to meet people who were more successful than me as well, who can give me the correct advice in regards of me doing things properly. And one thing, because I was out of it for so long, I was apprehensive to go back into it too. So I stopped creating, I stopped designing, which kind of worried me a lot. And it wasn't only until last year where I got the inspiration back, because I haven't done fashion for nearly 4 years. I got the inspiration back to actually say, okay, then I can actually design clothes again, but I've got a better business head. I've got a better project management experience from working with various companies, from, you know, working at Regent's University to working at Burberry. I know about CRM a hell of a lot better. You know, I know how to manage management systems, where I didn't know how to do that before when I was running my company. Shockingly, running the brand, like you'd think that, but usually people who are creatives, we don't usually have business acumen. So I had to kind of build that myself out of the time of me taking that hiatus.
Okay, amazing. So like, what advice would you give to anyone that wants to start up in business? What would your like 2 tips be?
Oh, geez. take your time. Like, take your time and don't watch what other people are doing. If you've got a very unique product or if you offer a unique service, build it, graft it, but make sure that you do it in the best way possible. Once again, it's all about being impatient. There was a lot of things that I was very impatient with, which kind of affected me in the long run. It's not affecting me now because I know what I did wrong. Another one is, although it's two advices, always be acceptable of the mistakes that you make.
Yeah.
Like, mistakes are not just mistakes, they're just the lessons. And that's one thing that you need to learn. Don't take things too seriously, especially when it comes to growing your brand. Although the brand's your baby, it's like, I think we put so much into it. And then when things fail, we put all of this unnecessary stress on ourselves because it's failed. No, it hasn't failed. It's just a lesson learned. So just take your time, take it in strides, and you will get to the finish line. Definitely, without a doubt.
Okay, so what fuel have you had to actually remain persistent and consistent? Because that's a massive thing. Because like, we tend to have this great idea, and like you mentioned, we graft away, work hard, we're looking after loads of people, and your energy gets depleted over time, and then you get it back. But like, sometimes, like you said, you gotta hit rock bottom in order to kind of bounce and then become better and love yourself more and stuff like that. But how can you remain consistent within the business and for yourself to keep on pushing on?
The people around me. 100%. So that's one of them. I've got some amazing friends. And, I've got a very supportive business partner. That's something that I do recommend people who are going into business. Find somebody that you connect with and that can help you do things that you don't know what to do. Like, if they're more experienced than you in a certain sector, utilize their skill set, because it's like it will help and contribute to the business more. And that kind of fuels me to want to do more, because I see the passion in your eyes, I see the passion in my business colleagues' eyes, I see the passion in my old circle. So it's very important that you're with a circle that supports you and nurtures you. The second thing is affirmations to yourself. A lot of us don't really speak positive things to ourselves, and that depletes us. And one thing that I've learned is speaking to yourself on the daily, positive words, positive affirmations helps you so much. I think since taking the hiatus from Stephen Arthur back in 2017, I think it was around that time, I started to do a lot of personal development on myself, where there was a lot of times where I didn't think my clothes weren't good enough, my brand wasn't good enough. It was, I'm allowed to swear on it?
Yeah,
it was fucking amazing. I was doing some fucking amazing shit, considering from where I came from, considering the resources that I had, and I didn't realize that. So it took me to kind of really sit down and take it all in. Like, you've created fashion shows, you've traveled to different countries to do to do fashion projects. You've worked with really big companies to do big projects. Like, went to Hong Kong to do a project for a huge fashion company. Like, that's crazy. And it's like, I didn't take that into consideration. So realizing all the amazing things that you've done and affirming it back to yourself, it really helps.
Definitely. Guys, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Stephen Arthur is definitely going to be here on a regular basis. Like, these videos, these lives are going to come out consistently and on a regular basis. The reason why I've got this whole setup here is to reach and connect with you guys more, see your messages, but then also it's going to be plugged into Clubhouse. So if you want to voice your opinion, we will be plugging Clubhouse into this live, and you can basically when you're in the group, you're kind of dialing in to put your input into the conversation. And I really want to make this as engaging as possible, and also being able to connect with you guys directly. So thank you very much for being on the platform and watching this. Actually, I'm not even finished yet. Stephen, how can everyone get in touch with you?
Okay, then. So you can reach me on all social platforms. If you just find me at Mr. Arthur, Mr. ARTHUR, __. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. And also, if you do want to reach out to me personally as well, if you just click the message section on Instagram, you can directly send me a message via email with any queries. I do not only create creative careers consultancy, I do my fashion as well. So if anybody ever needs some advice within the industry, I'm there.
Definitely.
Boom.
Definitely. I highly recommend that. And I support the brand. I'll wear the clothes.
Yeah, he wears the clothes.
I'll wear the clothes.
He was,
Not today, but I'll wear them
he
on
wears
a regular.
He wears them religiously, I'm telling him.
I know, for real. You're telling me off for wearing it too
He
much.
wears it too much sometimes. But that's love. That's real love right
for
there.
real, man. I've got to represent the peoples. You get me? So, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share this with a friend that needs to hear it. Today's topic was impatience and persistence, and I'll see you guys on the next live and video. Like, it's going live now.
It's live. It's live.
Yeah, much appreciated, and I'll see you soon.
Take care, guys.
Take care.